interesting designs.
Oh, yeah.
You had your own stencil and everything.
Very good. And it's weird.
Disney looks like it's finally being forced to confront a reality they've been avoiding for months. Their Snow White remake is shaping up to be a complete disaster. The studio didn't just quietly adjust plans, they cancelled the entire UK premiere, a move that screams panic. This wasn't done out of scheduling issues or strategy. It happened because backlash is exploding, the public mood is turning toxic, and Disney is terrified of the negative press that would come from Rachel Zegler taking questions on a red carpet in front of the world. That alone shows how unstable the situation has become. And honestly, it didn't have to reach this point. Fans were already uneasy the moment Disney started distancing itself from the heart of the original story. First, there were the reports about removing the dwarves and replacing them with CGI magical creatures. Then came comments that many felt mocked the original film, and on top of that, a wave of political drama surrounding the lead actress. Instead of calming the storm, every new update made the fire burn hotter. What should have been a celebration of a legendary fairy tale has turned into one of the most controversial reboots Disney has ever attempted. To make matters even worse, the new trailer, the one Disney hoped would save the narrative, has only intensified the backlash. The reaction is brutal. It's one of the most disliked trailers in YouTube history, and the comment sections are overflowing with frustration, disappointment, and disbelief. People aren't just disinterested. They feel the studio is disrespecting the legacy that helped build Disney's empire. The original Snow White wasn't some random movie, it was the film that defined animation. Walt Disney risked everything to create it, and it became a global phenomenon that shaped the company forever. Fast forward nearly a century, and now, fans are asking one big question: why mess with something so iconic? Why reinvent a classic just to strip away everything that made audiences love it in the first place? Instead of honoring Walt Disney's vision, the remake feels like an experiment. Gone wrong, one that the audience never asked for and never wanted. With the premiere cancelled, the trailer ratioed, and the fanbase angrier than ever, Disney's caught in a nightmare of its own making. This remake was supposed to be a triumph, a modern retelling of a beloved masterpiece. But now it's becoming a case study in how to take a legendary title and turn it into the most disliked movie event of the year. YouTube is the biggest stage on the planet, the true mainstream platform of our era, and when the public speaks there, companies listen. That's exactly why Disney is now scrambling. Reports confirm the studio is skipping the UK premiere of Snow White, terrified of the backlash surrounding the film's drastic changes and the avalanche of negative public perception tied to lead actress Rachel Zegler. Her old controversial comments have resurfaced, her newer ones keep making things worse, and her public image has become one of the biggest obstacles Disney has ever had to navigate during a movie launch. Meanwhile, fans are divided to an extreme degree. Die-hard Ziegler supporters are attacking Gal Gadot fans, and vice versa. Things got even more chaotic when someone photoshopped Gal Gadot out of the official poster, and instead of ignoring it, Rachel Zegler herself reposted it, fueling the drama even more. Adding to the oddness, Rachel's already started doing press alone. She flew to Tokyo, walked the carpet solo, sang a few songs, smiled for the cameras, but the absence of Gal Gadot, the evil queen, was impossible to ignore. Fans noticed, critics noticed. The internet definitely noticed. The entire rollout feels fractured, rushed, and full of red flags. As the release date inches closer, it's becoming impossible to ignore the truth. This movie is heading straight toward failure. And that's genuinely sad when you remember what the original 1937 Snow White represented. That film didn't just entertain people, it changed animation forever. It put Disney on the map, it defined an era. And now, nearly a century later, fans feel like the studio has abandoned that legacy in favor of a formulaic boss girl makeover that audiences are beyond tired of. Disney keeps acting like this. Approach is groundbreaking, but viewers have made it clear they're done with it. That's why hashtags like hashtag Go Woke Go Broke are trending again. Fans are openly calling for a boycott. Rachel Zegler's own interviews haven't helped either. Whether she's joking about destroying office furniture, complaining about not being paid enough to wear a princess dress for 18 hours, or saying she didn't even know she was auditioning for Snow White until the last second every clip gets clipped, shared, mocked, and turned into more fuel for the backlash machine. Even her story about auditioning with Jeff and Amy instead of Dopey went viral, not because people loved it, but because they felt it showed how disconnected she was from the character, the fans, and the original film. When her casting was announced, Twitter exploded for days. Instead of embracing the moment, she framed the criticism as something caused by people who needed to be educated and loved into awareness. Comments like that didn't calm the internet, they ignited it. And now here we are. A movie that should have celebrated Disney history has become a PR disaster, a battleground of fan wars, canceled premieres, solo press tours, skyrocketing dislikes, and the most controversial Disney casting in years. Dive into the Disney disaster that's shaking Hollywood to its core. August has barely begun, and things are already looking catastrophic for the House of Mouse in 2024. It's not just one division collapsing, the entire empire is fighting fires. Streaming is bleeding money, the theme parks are slowing down. Lucasfilm is drowning in backlash. And now, the newest and loudest explosion is Snow White 2025. From the moment Rachel Zegler was announced as the new Snow White, the controversy erupted like a bomb. Fans were loud, clear, and furious. Thousands felt she was completely miscast. But the real chaos was happening behind the scenes. According to insiders, director Mark Webb struggled so badly that he reportedly called her toxic and difficult to work with. That's a brutal reputation in Hollywood, where one negative whisper can follow you for years. So now the big question is, was this simply the wrong actress in the wrong role, or is something much deeper collapsing inside Disney? Because when the director of a $100 million film can't manage the lead actress, that's not just a casting problem, that's a studio in crisis. And this isn't a small controversy. This is a full-blown Hollywood meltdown making headlines everywhere. Think about it, going from a rising star to getting quietly pushed aside by Disney? That hits hard. Especially when you're expecting to lead one of the biggest fairy tale franchises ever created. Disney's decision here speaks louder than any statement. The studio is under insane pressure to win audiences back, and Snow White was supposed to be the safe project. Instead, it's become another PR nightmare, and Disney is tiptoeing on a razor-thin line, desperately trying to balance creative vision with avoiding total fan rebellion. Spoiler, it's not working. But let's talk about the thing that decides everything in Hollywood, the money. Because at the end of the day, every executive decision comes down to dollars. Rachel Zegler was on the verge of signing a massive multi-million-dollar contract with Disney, a deal that would have locked her into multiple future films and officially cemented her as one of the studio's new faces. It was supposed to be her breakthrough era, her golden moment. Then the Snow White trailer dropped, and the backlash was nuclear. The internet torched it. The dislikes skyrocketed. The memes exploded. The audience reaction was so brutally negative that Disney, for the first time, slammed the brakes. Suddenly, roles started disappearing. Projects were delayed. Meetings went silent. And now, nobody even knows if her contract was ever finalized, or if Disney simply waited to see what the public would say before committing to her long-term. Was she locked in? Or was she quietly kept on standby until the studio could measure the damage? Either way, the fairy tale is dead. This has turned into a full-scale Hollywood nightmare for Ziegler, for Disney, and for a remake that was supposed to be a milestone. And just when you think the chaos can't get any worse, there's still more to come. Disney's box office failures just keep piling up, and the chaos surrounding the company has reached a breaking point. What started as a messy PR problem has exploded into one of the biggest entertainment disasters of the year. Even major advertisers are calling out Disney's decisions, warning that they won't be blackmailed or pressured into supporting content they don't agree with. And that's the core of the drama. Disney's losing control of the narrative, the audience, and now even their own business partners. In the middle of all this, Rachel Zegler is gearing up for a legal war with Disney, accusing the studio of cutting her loose without any legitimate reason. Legally, that's massive. Contracts of this size don't just get shredded quietly. But let's be honest, this isn't just about paperwork. This is personal. Rachel feels betrayed, blindsided, and unsure where her career even stands anymore. Imagine being Hollywood's next big star, the face of a new Disney franchise, and then watching everything collapse in real time. One moment you're on top of the world, the next you're in freefall, and the entire internet is watching it happen. Now, she isn't just fighting for a role. She's fighting for her reputation. And just when you thought the situation couldn't crash harder, Disney hit her with another blow. She won't even be attending the Snow White world premiere. Completely cut out. That's not just a setback, that's a message. A brutal one. But the drama doesn't stop there. Disney is now scrambling behind the scenes to replace Rachel in multiple projects she was set to lead. Entire lineups are being reworked. And the Snow White sequel? Quietly cancelled. Disney is cutting its losses and running. If you're hoping the Snow White movie itself might redeem all this drama, think again. Early test screenings have been a disaster. Audience reactions aren't mixed, they're horrified. People aren't cheering, they're cringing. Leaked reports say the studio is desperately trying to fix the movie, but realistically, the ship is sinking and fast. And that brings us to the real question everyone is asking. How is Disney picking its stars? Is it based on actual talent? Or is the studio more focused on checking boxes than building strong films? Rachel's situation doesn't look like bad luck. It looks like a symptom of a much bigger problem inside Disney. Even CEO Bob Iger is in full-blown crisis mode. Emergency meetings. Closed-door discussions. A frantic search for answers as the empire continues to crack. At this point, it's bigger than Snow White, bigger than Rachel. This is about Disney's future and whether they can survive the backlash, the failures, and the audience they keep pushing away. So, what do you think? Did Disney make the right call, or did they completely fumble this situation? And how is this going to shape their upcoming projects? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're watching. And if you enjoyed this deep dive and want more of the truth behind Hollywood's biggest meltdowns, stay tuned. More is coming. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Woke Informant to stay informed and stay engaged. And let's dive into the chaos surrounding Disney, because the studio's box office failures just keep piling up. And Rachel Zegler is now at the center of a storm that's making headlines across Hollywood, with reports that she's gearing up for a legal battle claiming Disney cut her out of projects without a solid reason. A move that's not just about contracts or money, but about reputation and career. And imagine going from being Hollywood's next big star to suddenly starting from scratch. One moment on top of the world and the next in freefall. With the entire situation playing out publicly while Disney scrambles behind the scenes to replace her in major projects, cancel sequels, and try to course correct a Snow White remake that early test screenings suggest is failing miserably. Audiences cringing rather than cheering, leaving everyone questioning how Disney even chooses its stars and whether it's about talent or just filling quotas. All while CEO Bob Iger and the top brass scramble in emergency meetings trying to figure out what went wrong and how to prevent future disasters. And on top of that, Rachel's behavior and public statements have inflamed the backlash further, with many feeling she disrespected the very legacy that made her role possible. Trashing a character from the world's first full-length animated film that put Disney on the map and mocking the original movie and the brand she's supposed to be a part of, making fans feel like a cherished memory is being thrown under the bus. And as her situation unfolds with rumored replacements like Cara Delevingne stepping in, and scenes potentially being cut or rewritten, the question becomes bigger than one movie or one actress. This is about Disney's future. The tightrope they walk between creative vision and audience approval, the money at stake, and whether the studio can survive the mounting backlash, the PR nightmare, and the very public collapse of what should have been a celebrated franchise, leaving everyone watching and wondering if Disney made the right decisions or completely dropped the ball in what could be the most turbulent chapter in their history. Disney is facing an unprecedented storm as it struggles to manage its legacy, its fans, and its very future. And the ripple effects from the Snow White 2025 controversy are only beginning to unfold, threatening not just this highly anticipated remake, but also Rachel Zegler's career, the studio's reputation, and the performance of every project tied to the brand. As Zegler's public persona, controversial statements, and perceived attitude have made other studios hesitant to hire her out of fear that their own films could suffer massive box office losses. highlighting in stark terms that being in the spotlight does not erase your humanity or the personal struggles, mental strain, and intense scrutiny that come with fame, while at the same time reminding the public that celebrities are allowed to have human moments, make mistakes, and express themselves, even if it fuels further backlash, which Disney has found themselves facing head-on, trying to navigate a perfect storm of criticism and public outrage by slamming the pause button on promotions, hoping the storm would pass, only to have the trailer for Snow White flop spectacularly, shattering records for the wrong reasons, generating historic dislike ratios far worse than the already controversial Little Mermaid trailer, creating a visual sea of red that served as a glaring warning that the studio's missteps were visible to everyone, fans and critics alike, and making it abundantly clear that this was not just traditional Disney, enthusiasts lamenting the loss of nostalgia and classic charm, but modern feminists questioning the forced rebranding of Snow White into a girl boss warrior, while casual viewers shrugged, feeling uninterested or alienated, leaving Disney in the unenviable position of trying to please everyone at once and failing spectacularly, while the reimagined character of Snow White herself, transformed into a fearless heroine, abandoning the romantic and prince-centered elements of the story, divided audiences even further, with some celebrating a bold departure from the damsel in distress trope and others criticizing it as simply replacing one stereotype with another, comparable to a beloved soda brand releasing a new and improved flavor that tastes nothing like the original. And as if this were not enough, the CGI, particularly of the dwarves, came across as rough, unfinished, and artificial, generating widespread criticism that Disney, a studio renowned for impeccable animation and visual excellence, had taken shortcuts, missed an opportunity for authenticity and inclusivity, and failed to honor the craft fans have come to expect, prompting debates over whether the studio should have cast actors with dwarfism rather than relying on CGI, making what should have been a magical and immersive visual experience feel hollow and mechanical. While the PR disaster deepened, the backlash grew louder with each passing day, and Rachel Zegler, at the center of this maelstrom, reportedly prepared for a legal showdown against Disney, claiming she'd been cut from projects without legitimate reason, feeling blindsided, betrayed, and unsure about the future of her acting career, navigating the intense scrutiny of the public eye, dealing with criticisms that her interviews came across as entitled, tone-deaf, and self-absorbed, all of which only fueled the fire. While emergency meetings behind the scenes saw CEO Bob Iger and Disney's top executives scrambling to contain the situation, realize what went wrong, and prevent it from spiraling even further, revealing that this controversy is bigger than any one actress or any single movie, instead becoming a reckoning with Disney's entire approach to talent, creative decisions, audience expectations, and legacy stewardship, forcing the company to confront uncomfortable questions about whether their attempts to modernize and reinvent beloved classics are alienating core fans, undermining their own brands, and creating a public relations disaster that could have long-term consequences for the studio's cultural and financial standing. While simultaneously, fans, critics, and casual viewers continue to dissect, debate, and discuss every move, every trailer, every casting decision, and every creative choice, making Snow White 2025 not only one of the most controversial films in Disney history, but also a pivotal moment that could shape the trajectory of the company for years to come, leaving everyone watching wondering whether Disney can truly recover from this PR nightmare, salvage the film, and regain the trust of its audience, all while navigating the high stakes of a modern entertainment landscape that punishes missteps with unprecedented speed and intensity.